Hello everyone, my name is Wenjie Ji. I am a researcher at the Department of Planning and Environmental Sciences at NMSU. Today I'd like to present some work me and my colleague Niall have done at the Jornada Experimental Range and want to use it as an example to talk about shrub cover changes in the southwest rangelands over the past decade. I believe many of you know that shrubs have encroached many of rangelands 50 or 60 years ago, transforming the grass-dominated ecosystem to shrublands dominated by woody plants, including the Jornada Experimental Range. However, the spatial distribution of the shrubs is not homogeneous. In fact, in a recent paper we have published, we found that there are significant spatial variations in shrub cover, and these spatial patterns were mainly governed by local topographic conditions such as soil texture and elevation. I have put a link to our paper at the bottom of the slide if you're interested to read more about our work. This analysis was based on the shrub cover map we created using aerial photos acquired in 2011. Since then, we have extended our analysis to include more years so that we can look at the temporal change in shrub cover. And this figure here shows that at the landscape scale, the shrub population remained relatively stable. As you can see that the average shrub cover did not change much since 2009. However, if we look at these maps more closely, we see that there are still some differences in how shrub cover changed in different parts of the landscape. And we can see that differences more clearly in this map, which shows the percent shrub cover change from 2009 to 2018. While in many areas, the shrub population remained unchanged, indicated by the gray colored pixels, shrub cover decreased in these areas, the blue colors, in these landscapes, which is dominated by honey mesquite sand dunes, and increased it on landforms, the red color dominated by grass or a mixture of grass and shrub species. The correlation between cover change and landform can be viewed more intuitively if we overlay a landform map on top of the cover change. Here's a map showing major landforms of the Jornada and see how it matches closely with the shrub cover change. I'll show you again and see how the color matches each other in these two maps. So why shrub cover increased on some landforms while stayed unchanged or even decreased on others? One possible explanation is the differences in soil texture and initial shrub cover. Let's first look at soil texture. We know that soils with a coarser texture, in other words, more sand content, are more likely or are more susceptible to shrub encroachment. Therefore, in areas with sandy soil such as mesquite dunes, shrub cover in 2009 may already be high, while shrub cover is more likely to be much lower on finer textured soils since they are more resistant to encroachment. And we also know that rates of encroachment decreases with initial shrub cover, because when you have a lot of shrubs to begin with, there will be less resource available for future growth. And if we put these two things together, the spatial patterns in shrub cover change start to make sense, because on mesquite dunes, initial shrub covers were higher due to the coarser textured soils, thus there were very little or no encroachment in these areas. In the mixed landscapes, on the other hand, soil texture is finer and initial shrub cover was lower, thus leading to a higher encroachment in the past 9 or 2 years in these lands. While a higher initial cover may have prevented mesquite dunes from further encroachment, the decreases we observe in these landscapes may be caused by the climate conditions. Here we see that we have, at the Jornada, we had several good years with above average precipitation from 2005 to 2008, but then annual precipitation dropped to below average afterwards. Thus, changes in shrub cover from 2009 to 2018 may in part be a response of the climate condition, response of the shrub population to the climate condition, where shrub cover decreased or returned to normal after wet years in 2005 and 2008. So to conclude, a shrub cover at the Jornada external range remained relatively stable from 2009 to 2018, but also very spatially. So encroachment was higher on fine textured soils where initial shrub cover was lower, and encroachment was lower on sandy mesquite dunes, honey mesquite dunes where initial shrub cover was high. And also decreases in shrub cover on honey mesquite dunes may also be the shrub's response to the climate conditions where we have consecutive wet years followed by below average rainfall. And that is all for my presentation, and thank you.